Hi, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're rejoining. Welcome if this is your first time. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, freedom educator, which Fiat labeled me in her post. I'm like, I love that. So thank you.
Freedom educator.
um,
Yay.
yes. But on this channel, we talk about various topics, all with the goal of getting free as Black women from societal expectations, from places and people that don't serve us, and really pursuing the lives of our dreams. So I have a wonderful guest with me today, Fiat Hollins, but I will pass it over to her to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. I am Fiat Hollins, but people call me Fee because for some reason Fiat is hard to pronounce for some folks, even though it's only 2 syllables, but whatever. But I am a story writer as well as a story listener. I am an author, a wounded healer, super multi hyphenate, and I started posting on YouTube about like in 2013. So I started posting my healing journey as a means to cope with a divorce I was going through. And so I had heard either from Iyanla or Oprah that the only way to heal is to be vulnerable. So I started a YouTube channel 11 years ago now, and I started just posting stuff about how I was healing from my divorce. And because I desperately need to heal. So that's how I started on you. Pretty much got my start on YouTube. But that's who I am overall.
I love that. I love that. And the topic for today is getting free from the male gaze, which you talk a lot about on your channel, right? So I just want to ask, like, how did you come to recognize the impact that the male gaze has had throughout your life? Like, what was that point of realization? Like, whoa, just the power that it has held.
Because so to put some like a little bit of backstory. So I've been journaling and keeping a journal since 1989. So like
Wow.
forever. So I was 14 years old and
Yeah.
I have all of my journals dating back from 95 to the present. Right.
Wow.
So
Okay.
every now and then I will go back and read different entries from when I was in my 20s and in my 30s. And I noticed that I was just boy crazy. Like my whole, when I tell you my entire life was centered around men, like everything, like I could not focus. It was a huge distraction. But I noticed that I was getting a lot of attention ever since I was, a kid, and I would do any and everything. I was just trying to get attention. And so just reading, like I said, reading journal entries and writing down like certain things that they would say to me, like I was too fat, or I was not big enough, or I
Yeah.
should keep my hair short. I should never cut my hair. And then so like 3 years ago, I started saying like, because I was seeing this guy 3 years ago who totally like objectified me. Like he was glorifying just all different body parts. And I just was like, this doesn't feel good. So it got to the point where I wasn't flattered, I was offended. And so then I just started asking myself, like, why do I care about what these men think about me? It was just like, I had never asked myself that. I was just like, why do I care so much? And you know how they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
I promise you. After that, all my feeds on YouTube, everything, little articles started popping up, and then I started seeing about the male gaze. I had not heard of it before, and then I was just like, oh, it makes sense now. Like this is a whole thing, and so then I started seeing how it was deeply rooted in, of course, like patriarchy and how it's in movies. And also I'm a cinephile. I really love movies because I look at movies to do character analysis and all that stuff. And I started just paying attention, and I was like, this is trash. like
Yeah.
like this is so harmful when you know what I mean, when you really think about it, it's harmful. So it was when I was seeing that guy and how he was objectifying me and just the way that it made me feel with certain things that he would say. And then I just was like, I don't I don't care anymore. Like I no longer care about what you or any guy has to say. So I broke it off with him and I just been on this decentering journey for about 3 years now. Oh, am I froze?
Can you hear me okay? I'm sorry. I think my
Oh
internet
yeah.
went out.
I was like, oh my God, did I freeze?
I'm sorry. I think that was my internet. But yes, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, like you said, the objectification, right? Kind of like breaking us down into body parts. I feel like that's kind of what I've been realizing. And just like you said, the feed, like all this information coming at us about the male gaze, which is a new term to me, right? Just within the past year or so, and realizing how much it has affected my life, right? Trying to model myself after like what mid would want, like constantly viewing myself like, how would this attract a man? Or how would this like ward off attention I didn't want? Right, based on the way that I dress, the way that I look, the way that I speak all the time. And it's a lot of like mental gymnastics that you go through.
It is.
All of these things, right?
It's
It's like
too
so much
much.
extra work.
Too much.
It is.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I was like, no, get somebody else to do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. I do want to ask, let's see here. How did you begin liberating yourself from societal expectations, from the power that the male gaze holds? Like, what was that process for you? Because I know a lot of us are kind of in that stage of wondering, how do we do this? Because it's taxing, it's emotionally draining. And we want to be free of it. So if you have like anything to share around your process of doing that.
Well, the first thing I did was I started just taking a whole bunch of like healing courses. So I spent a lot of my time on YouTube. And so I came across the personal development school. This lady, her name is Thais Gibson. She runs the personal development school and she speaks about attachment styles. And she was the first person that I heard speak about attachment styles in a way that was like in layman's terms. And it was, I was able to easily identify with all of the different types. And so she had like this, she has this membership where she was offering half off or something. And I just started taking all of these courses on just emotional intelligence, how to heal from broken heart. I was just taking all of these courses. And after I learned my attachment style and started healing like my core wounds, I started understanding more about how and why I was showing up the way I was in my life based on my core wounds and my attachment style and all of that. So that's the first place I started. So I noticed that because I grew up, I'm an only child. So I grew up in a house where I was just like really lonely. My mom didn't really talk to me. So she was physically present, but she was emotionally absent. And then my dad was emotionally absent and he was physically absent as well. So I grew up just constantly wanting to be seen and heard. So I saw how that affected how I showed up in just life, period. Like wanting someone, just always trying to be seen and heard. And then when I started healing my core wounds, like I need to show up for myself, really pour into myself, get clear on what my needs are, then everything started just falling into place. Like, okay, I really don't care now about getting this unhealthy male attention, because when you're just when you're just dealing with a whole lot of trauma and you're just hurt and then you're just lonely, you just want somebody to fill a void. So that's where I started. I
Mhm.
went to the personal development school, took a whole bunch. Like I invested so much money in these courses, like from 2020 to like up until last year. But so I started there, and then I ran into like different people on YouTube who were talking about
Mhm.
decentering men, and then I just and they there's a lot of them are like journalists, so they have like the education and background that I don't have. So I was looking at it from their point of view and how harmful like patriarchy and the male gaze is. So I started following all of those people on YouTube, and so that's how I started the process. And it's become easier because even though I don't know them personally, they're like my
Mhm.
they're like my community. So I go to their channel and
Yeah.
stay abreast on what's going on and all the articles like these and like statistics about it's just a whole lot. So that's what I do now.
I love that. I love that. And yeah, like the community on YouTube has been so powerful, right? Just knowledge sharing, resource sharing. And even though we don't know like relationship that you develop with the information that they share, and like being in the chats and stuff like that, that's powerful and it's healing too.
It
So I
is.
totally get that. Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, let me get back to my. Oh yeah, I would love to ask like just your journey to YouTube. Like, what made you want to start a YouTube channel in the first place? I would just love to know like your process for that.
Um so back then I just was really desperate. So I had a YouTube channel since maybe 2009, but I started off it was a hair
Mm-hmm.
journey. So like I had locks. This is like my sixth set of locks. So I would put my, hairstyles and all that on there. And then I didn't do anything for like years. And then when I came back in 2013, I just needed a way to just have an outlet and to release.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, since I
Yeah.
was going through a divorce, I didn't know what else to do. So I was pretty much like desperate. So I was like, I'm gonna listen to Iyanla or Oprah. They told me to be vulnerable. So I started just writing up scripts. So what I was doing back then, I was writing out like lengthy scripts because I'm a writer. That's what I do. But this is what I was
Mm-hmm.
saying to you before we went live is that I have to have some type of structure because then I'll either go off task or then I'll totally forget what I'm going to say. So back then it was more or
Mm-hmm.
less so me. I have like a sheet of paper up like on a stand,
Right.
and then I'm just sitting there reading whatever the topic was about. So I just started doing that as a means to heal because I was married at the time for about 6.5 years. So even though I'm the one that initiated the divorce, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't prepared for the his family divorcing me. So I was more hurt by that than divorcing my
Mm-hmm.
ex-husband. And so didn't expect that. So I was just hurt and I was devastated. So I was just making videos about that. So and I just felt like YouTube was the easiest to reach more people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Um, and that was kind of similar journey for me coming out of a toxic job. Like that was a space for me to share what I was going through. And like you said, lean into vulnerability because that's so
That's
difficult
hard.
sometimes.
I'm about to say that's
And
hard.
I feel like, yeah. And I figured like, why not just, do it in public on YouTube, like this huge platform, right? But it was healing. It was healing to be able to share what I was going through. And now looking back like a year later, I'm glad that I did it because I have, proof, evidence, stuff to look back on about how harmful that was and the pain I was in. And other people have been able to learn from it and heal from it as well. So I think there's power in sharing those moments of hurt with other people to heal,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yes. I always say that our stories don't belong to us. They really don't. We're meant
Ooh.
to be here to
Yeah.
share our stories
Hmm.
for real.
I
Because
love
that's how
that.
we learn and that's how we grow.
Mm.
Well, that's
Yep.
definitely how I learned.
That's so true. That's so true. Um, I'd also like to ask about your business, your online business, which I'll link in the chat. Um, and you're also a member of my online community, Free Black
I
Women
am.
Entrepreneurs.
Thank you for creating that. Thank you so much for creating that.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
absolutely. Absolutely.
See, I've been waiting for
Yes.
you all this time. I'm just like,
Oh,
where are my people at?
thank you.
Let's like
Yes.
in real life, like in like IRL, my people
Mm-hmm.
get tired of. So I think it's important to have a community where like-minded people are for real. Because
Mm-hmm.
in real life on my end, most people think I am the crazy one. They're just like, oh my God, you don't want to work, you don't want to do such and such. And that's hard to be around folks that don't really get it. It's just like, no, you all are part of a system. They are playing this. Y'all don't understand. Like, we are not free. And so
Yeah.
people just be like my daughter is like, okay, so what are you going to do instead then? It's like, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I just know I don't want to do this. I just know that I don't
Yeah.
want to work 40 hours a week. Our time is supposed to be hours. Do you not understand that? It's just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for creating a community. That was my point, because I don't have anybody that I can really talk to outside, like in real life. That's why I'm always on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. That's so real. That's so real. Because a lot of this is new, right? Even talking about like online entrepreneurship, this hasn't even existed that long. So a lot of people are
Right.
like, what are you doing? Like, you want to work when you want to work? Like, how does that? Because I get that
I
a
want to
lot.
work when I want to work. No, I want to work when I want, from wherever I want, whenever I want.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yep. That's it.
So
That's it. And it's possible now. It's
it
possible.
is.
And yeah, and we've seen other people, other groups do it. And I feel like it's very new. It's very new, and it feels because it is pushing back against these societal structures that we're expected to just tolerate, right? Like the 40-hour work
Right.
week was created
Ridiculous.
not with our rest in mind, our well-being in mind. So pushing
Ridiculous.
back against all those things. Yeah, it's real. It's real.
I don't,
But yeah, I'd love to know
I'm
more
against
about your
it
business.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
Um
too. Me too.
so I'm just in the fledgling process of creating, like making it a legit business. So like since 2011, I've been like this solo entrepreneur, but just really kind of like throwing
Mhm.
spaghetti at the wall type of thing and seeing what sticks. So I wrote my first book in 2011. So I've been doing online stuff since 2011, but since I've always had a 9 to 5, I've never been able to go all in with it. You know what I mean? So I've been selling books
Yeah.
online, selling books out of my trunk, doing all that kind of stuff. But fast forward to now, I want to be able to do things online. So I'm trying to build more like my digital products. So I'm getting more into more promoting my book, because I wrote a book 13 years
Mhm.
ago. It's just like, that's ridiculous. But I don't promote it like like at all.
And what's
So
the
I have
name?
3 books.
Okay.
I have 3 books. So I have a book of short stories called It Can Happen to You. There's 3 short
Okay.
stories in there. Then I have a book called Innocence GA, which is actually that's a fiction book. Well, the first 2 books are fiction, and the third book is nonfiction. And so I have those, and then I written short films. I have a web series. So a lot of those things, like my first short film, I had a movie premiere for it here in Michigan, so in Detroit. And so I'm just like, I can make money online.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I need to really go dive into it. So
Mhm.
long story short, I haven't officially figured out like the whole structure, but I do know that I want to start selling like more like digital products, maybe more like digital, like templatizing stuff to make things easier
Yeah.
for solopreneurs and all of that. So that's the way I'm headed, because again, I want to be able to do what I want when I want from wherever I want. So
Mhm. I love that. I love that. Yay.
I'm
And
starting
I did
slow,
not
so
know.
that's why
Yeah. You've written 3 books though. I did not know
yep.
that.
3
And
books.
are those available on your Gumroad or account? Or how can people purchase
Um,
those?
2 of them are on the Gumroad link, but all of them are
Okay.
on Amazon. Like all of them are on
Okay.
Amazon. Yep.
Okay.
Yes, because I don't promote
Okay.
I don't promote them. It's crazy. I think about when I first wrote them and I was just promoting them all the time, and then something happened. I just stopped. So those who know me,
Mhm.
they will ask me, or I know people that still buy them from me. Um, and then I'll sometimes see like Amazon KDP. I'll get an alert saying someone bought your book. I'm just like, oh, I wonder how they found it, because I don't talk about it. But that's going to change though. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I love
crazy.
that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yes. And just to read a comment from Mimi here. She said that's so understandable. The
Hey,
messaging we
Mimi.
get tells us that our value, yes, yes, tells us that our value lies in the approval of men. Absolutely. Yes.
That's
Yep.
it's so crazy.
Ooh, it
Like
is.
nobody teaches us that though. You know what I mean? Like I am 48 years old. And when you look at everything is set up to like from the approval of men, like through the eyes of men and through the lens of
Mm-hmm.
men. And you don't even think about that. We're just living life and going about our day,
Yeah.
and then something just I just think like intuitively and innately, we just know something's not right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, why is this like that? But I've always been just this inquisitive person. I'm the one that's always asking questions. I'm the one that needed to be born in my family, like for real, generational cursor breaker, whatever you,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm asking
Yeah.
all the questions. I'm just like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we doing that? Why are you doing this? And who is that? Yeah. So once
Yeah.
I started doing all of that, I'm like, oh no, 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 no. We're not doing that anymore. I don't want to hear your opinion. Don't say nothing about my hair. Cause I had this one guy who was just always say, don't cut your hair anymore. Cause I will cut my hair in a minute. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I don't mean to be disrespectful for those who like, have like alopecia and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I've always had a lot of hair. And sometimes I get tired of it, so I just cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
I had this guy who would make it his business to always say, you need to not cut your hair. You need to, women's hair is her glory and God this. I'm just like, sir, I don't care. Just shut up, please. I'm just, nobody can
That's too
say anything to
much.
me now.
Mm-mm.
It's like, it's not for you. It's not for you.
Exactly. It's not your hair.
It's not your
It's
hair.
not your hair.
Why do
Grow
you
your hair.
care? Right. Like, why
Yeah.
do you care? It's because they've been there. It's what's what I'm always saying to my daughter. She is entitled. Okay. It's like an
Mm-hmm.
entitlement. Yeah. Yeah, so that was a
Yeah.
tangent. But yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yes, that is so true though. That is so true. And Mara says, hey Mara. Yes, coming from someone who had a pick me stage because I didn't know my worth and realizing the validation is within me. Yeah. Yeah. Can relate to that. Can totally
Big
relate to
time.
that. And realizing the validation is within me. That's
Right.
powerful.
It
Taking that back.
is.
Like, no, you don't get to validate me. I
Yes.
validate myself. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And admitting she had a pick me stage. Yes, that's how. Listen. Oh no, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
That episode from Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if it was a pick me thing before that, but I know the episode of Grey's Anatomy when did you watch Grey's Anatomy
I
when it
did
first
here and
came out?
there.
Right, me too, because it's like a
Here and there.
gazillion seasons and like nobody has
Yeah,
time.
when it
But
first came out. Yeah. Hmm.
there's this
Yeah.
scene when Meredith Grey, she's just like, she's like begging the guy. I think his name was Derek, and she's just like, pick me, choose me, love me. And I think I stopped
Oh,
watching it after that
yes.
because, and I think that's what a whole because
Yes.
she's. It's like, no, we're not about to beg anybody to be with us. That's what we're not going to do. And so I don't know if I don't know. I don't know where the pick me phrase came from, but I'm wondering if that's it because that was a big deal and
Mm-hmm.
people thought that was like romantic and all. No, that's horrible. I'm not about to beg anybody. Okay.
Ooh.
But yeah. So I went through a pick me stage, but it wasn't explicit in that way, like, okay, pick me, but my behavior and my actions and all of that was saying, like, please choose me. No,
Mm-hmm.
not anymore.
That's so real. Yep. And now that you bring up Grey's Anatomy, I'm just thinking about media, right? All the messages that we receive from media throughout our lives. In movies, like behavior that's really not acceptable, but we're taught that it's romantic, right? Like even like thinking about stalkerish behavior, it's often portrayed
Man,
as romantic in
it's
media, and
crazy.
we're just supposed to go after that
Yeah. Oh,
and like
listen,
accept that.
it's so many movies I have to rewatch to analyze and chop it up. Like, okay, this is not right.
Yeah.
And even going back to the main narrative is romantic relationships. That's a whole nother thing
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like messes with people's head. Like if you're not in a relationship, then you see yourself as not good enough. Then you start wondering what's wrong with you. It's a whole thing. But then when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, like, why is that narrative pushed? That narrative is pushed on us like very young. Like, get in a relationship, get
Very.
married, have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, but why? We don't prioritize like friendships and all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I be questioning everything. I start questioning everything. Like, why are we doing this? But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
movies, TV shows, mm-mm,
All of it. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of
And
it.
me too. Like I've always been someone to question stuff that was happening around me. And I think that's like a common theme. A lot of us are like questioning what's in this? Like, what is this really? And why
What
is
is
it
this
so
really?
powerful? Yeah. And it's like controlling our lives for all of this time, right? Trying to see ourselves through men's standards
Right.
that they've set. Why do we have
It's
to contort ourselves to appeal to their standards?
right.
Why? Yeah,
Why?
I've been sitting with that question.
Please tell
Hmm.
me why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I said that's why I'm like when I read my journal entries, I was just like, oh, poor baby. Like I say to myself, like, you really were doing all this for this dude.
Yeah.
And you really
Hmm.
were waiting by the phone when we actually had like
Oh,
landline phones and you're
yeah.
actually but it's just so much. So much to unpack.
It is. It is. Ooh. Yes. Yep. And waiting for like a man to say that you're pretty. It's like constantly seeking that out. Like that is so much work when you could just validate yourself, like Mara said. Validate yourself
Yes. Yep.
instead of seeking out, instead of
Just be
jumping through
you.
all these hoops. Mm-hmm.
Th-
Yeah.
That's it.
So true.
If you want somebody with long hair,
Yep.
go over there. If my hair is short and you want long hair, then go over there. Don't tell me that I need to either grow my hair or I need to
No.
XYZ. Like so many people have opinions. People be like, "Oh, you don't need to lose weight. You look better thick." Well, who think I didn't why are you telling me? Who cares? Why?
Exactly.
So that's my
Exactly.
attitude now. That's my
Ooh.
attitude now. But it took a lot of work for me to get here because usually it'd just be like, oh, okay. So then I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
the gym anymore because this person is like, oh, you look better thick. And mm-mm. We no longer
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Ooh. And that's not, no, not at all. Not at all. That's so real. That's bringing up a lot of a lot of things in the past. Yeah. Um, just like contorting ourselves, like fixing our bodies to how someone else wants it. Like, why? It's exhausting. And that's the point, right? To exhaust us, to drain us of energy that could be used for other things. Like you said, friendships, other interests, other pursuits outside of vying for this approval and gaze all the time.
All the
And it's
time.
fleeting,
It's a lot.
right? And it's subject to change. It's up and down. It's with trends. It's with beauty standards that are based on white supremacy. Um,
Right.
all of these
Yeah,
things.
that's a whole
It's a lot.
other conversation. Yes.
Hmm.
the standards of
Yeah.
beauty, and then we don't even get into this whole the colorism and the
Yeah.
texturism, just everything. Just
Yeah.
nope. I'm gonna stay over here
Absolutely.
and be myself. And
Mm-hmm.
if you vibe with it, that's fine. If not, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
But it came with so much pain and heartache over the years, though, with
Yeah.
wondering, because you that's why I was talking about the core wounds and the attachment styles, because when you realize like what your core wounding is, like what your core wounds are, you realize that that's how you show up in the world and in every aspect of your life. So if you already have the wound
Mm-hmm.
of I am not good enough, I'm a wound of not being seen and heard, then you go out here and attract and entertain people who see you that way as well, because you see yourself as that. And you see yourself as that. And as far as jobs too, is I don't feel I'm not
Yeah.
good enough. So then you go and get these jobs that if you're living in survival mode, you just need to pay the bills. So then they treat you like trash, but you're just like, I gotta work. And it's a whole thing. It's all about how you see yourself for real at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
core wounds, when I questioned all of those and started looking at all of my core wounding, it made sense as to why I stayed in certain relationships, why I stayed in some bad jobs, and just all like the choices that I made based on my core wounding. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Yeah. And like you said, even tying it to jobs, right? Any type of relationship where you stay, you know you deserve better. It's like, but you stay because of those wounds are so deep. Like
it
going all the
is.
way back to like early childhood. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And people think it's like
That's so great.
we always bringing up stuff from the past. That stuff matters. Like that
It
stuff is
does.
serious because we don't heal those things. We just grow up and we find ways to cope. But they show up
Mm-hmm.
in every area of our life, mainly health,
Yeah.
money, jobs, relationships. Just look at your
Mm-hmm.
core wounds and it explain everything.
It's very true. It's very true. Um, Mimi says, makes me sad how many women saw my hair or lack thereof and said they want to cut theirs, but their husbands don't
Oh,
approve. Wow. Mm. Yeah. Mm.
mm, mm, mm. Cause who hair
Yeah.
is it? Whose hair?
That part. That part. Yep. Yep. And why are we performing femininity? Like,
And this is
yeah,
why when some
that's
of
real.
my like like my male cousins or even some of my male acquaintances will be like, "That's why you're single because you so hard or you ex." That is not it at all. I because I have my own voice because it's my hair. Like that shouldn't be like I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Don't approve. It's one thing I mean, even that I don't wouldn't care. But it's one thing to just say like, "Oh, well no, I don't even want to say that either." I was going to say, "Well, you cut your hair, you want to cut your hair." It's just like, "Oh, I like your hair better short, I mean long or something." But it's like even that I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So never mind. You could just throw out my
Right.
what I was going to say. Like even if the husband wanted to say like, "Oh, I don't think you should do that," or "I like your hair like it is." I don't know if that's okay for him to say or not. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But to not approve, to say, and I know some people like that too. They'll just be like, I know if my woman get her hair cut, I wouldn't be with her anymore. It's just like that's so superficial to me. Do you know what I mean?
It is very, very surface level. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that is sad because when you cut your hair, when they say when women cut their hair, it's a wrap. That's the ultimate freedom for real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the ultimate freedom.
That's true. That's true. Um, Mara says, I was watching That's So Raven. Oh, That's So Raven. Yes. And it was episode where she was changing and lying to get. Yep. Yep. That's such an
Mm-hmm.
important point, right? Media, all the shows that we watched growing up during our formative years, and that messaging stays within us. And then we're trying to navigate all this as adults in relationships, having that
Yep.
messaging, that programming. So that's real. That is real. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
But yes, I did want to ask you just about YouTube. We talked a little bit about this, but how do you think like YouTube has contributed to us being able to reclaim our narratives and take our power back as Black women?
I think
If you have any thoughts.
YouTube is great though. I think it gives us the space to speak our piece and to tell our story. So that's huge. And it's free to join. We know we like free. You know what I mean? It's like no barrier to entry. You know what I mean? We don't have to have all this like production costs and studios and all that. We could just turn on our phone and just start recording. And I think that's good. So I think it's good that we get to share our stories to the masses and help women get free. So I think it's a great opportunity that YouTube provides.
I love that. Like you said, it's like accessible. It's an accessible healing space, right? It's free. That's so important. Just to be able to come on here, join communities, safe communities, be able to share your story and listen to other people, what they've been through, see them make it to the other side. It gives people hope. I know that gave me hope, right? Listening to other Black women share their stories about exiting a toxic job, transforming their lives. I'm like, oh, okay. That's possible for me too. Even if I go on YouTube and see someone else who looks like me do the same thing and have that hope reinvigorated.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's important for people to look like us and they're doing it. We need to see that.
That's true.
We need to see us.
That's so very true. Mimi says, men love to say that's why you're single. Yes.
Don't they? It's so funny to me now. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're single. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you single, sir?
Exactly. Exactly.
They don't ever talk. They're single. They say they're single because of us, because we don't act right. That's what the answer would be. Oh, goodness.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yes. Just scrolling through the comments here. Mara says, when I think about the male gaze in the Black community, I also think colorism. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
important.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to ask you about supporting each other, right? Supporting each other, uplifting each other as we journey towards freedom and away from things that are restricting, right? And contribute to our oppression, like the male gaze. What is the importance, do you think, of us supporting each other in communities like this as we are learning, growing, and shedding what no longer serves us?
I feel like Fannie Lou Hamer said, nobody's free until everybody's free.
Yeah.
Nobody's free until everybody's free. So it's important to have sisterhood and community because we're Harriet Tubman. We got to get everybody free. Like, we got to take as many people along with us as we can. Do you know what I mean? Because it's really an oppressive system. It's an oppressive system. So we have to share everything that we can to get people to understand that, look, this world it's not here for us. Like, this world was designed to keep us suppressed, period. So suppressed, oppressed, for us not to thrive. So we're trying to take as many people along with us as we can. So you have to join these communities because your little friends, they don't understand. So you got to go with people understand what's going on And yeah, we gotta
That's
be in
key.
community. We can't do this by ourselves.
Uh-huh. To be around other people who are on the same journey as you is huge. Because like you said, not necessarily the people who are around you are going to get what you're doing. They may even think like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? Because it feels so out there. But the more you get around other people who are
So
doing it,
out
it's
there.
like, okay, it's not that out there.
Right.
Because other people are
Right.
doing it, but you just have to get around those people. Yeah.
Yeah. And YouTube is good for that. That's what I love about that, because you just open the phone or get on your laptop, and then you see like out. Okay. So when I saw like the Exodus Summit and like Stephanie Perry and
Yeah.
Rashida, then I saw you. I said, "Oh my God, there's people that's doing this," because I've been talking about this with my journals since 2004. So I was 29 years old. So I started seeing this early.
Yeah.
Not gonna say early, but before I was 30. And it's like I said, I'm 48, because nobody got it. No, nobody's getting it. So I'm the one that's just telling my journal, this doesn't feel right. Like I have to come to work I have to do this every day. I have to work 40 hours. Like I didn't have anybody to talk to. So at the time I would go and I would live with I would just quit jobs. So that's what I was doing back in 2004. I would quit a job, and I still quit a job today, like in a minute.
Yeah.
But since I was a teen mom and I had a daughter, so I was I was strategic with it. Like, but I just knew, I said, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. Like, this doesn't feel good. Like, I want to be creative. I want to be free. And my mom was the first person to tell me, she was just like, you are a free spirit. And she was like, that's not going to be received well in the world. So be prepared for that. But she always encouraged me to be me. And I didn't get it like when I was a kid. She was like, you're a free spirit. I'm like, what is that? But when I started quitting these jobs, I was always able to go with my grandmother. I didn't have a job, so my grandmother would be like, you can come stay with me. But now that my grandmother's gone, I feel like this sense of like, what am I supposed to do? Like, so I've been saying this for years, just like I get a job, and I always have like good government jobs. And so then when I would quit them, everybody around me is just like, you quit another good job and you just don't want to work. And even had some people call me lazy. And it's just like, I need to find community. So I thought it was like a breath of fresh air when I came across, you all of y'all. And I'm just like, oh, black people these are black women. I'm going to follow everybody. So that's what happened. So that's why I joined your community.
Yeah.
That's why I started watching your videos, because I was so excited, because what is like 19 years? Let me see. Doing the math. Carry the one. Yeah. Like almost 20 years. I've been just working and then quitting and writing my journal saying, this, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Nobody is getting it. I'm talking to people. I'm talking to other black women. Everybody's calling me crazy. People are telling me. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that was the case for me too. Going back through my phone and seeing all the notes in my notes app saying like, this cannot be it. I'm so bored. I hate this every day.
I hate it.
And I
Like
just didn't
somebody
know
came
a
up with
different way.
this.
Exactly. I didn't know there was a different way to live until Exodus Summit as well. I was like, okay, I guess I just have to do this until I'm 65. That was the only option presented to me.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's so horrible. I'm like, none of y'all are questioning this. Like, everybody, y'all are robots. But yeah, the one thing that I keep getting is and it's a collective exhaustion too. And that's another thing that I think is really sad. That because like I said, I'm a writer, but I'm also a story listener. All I really want to do in my life is sit on a porch. I love porches and I love rocking chairs. All I want to do is sit on the porch with a rocking chair and just listen to stories. So for years, people, all they do is come to me and tell their stories. I know so many people's stories. That's why I started writing books, really, because it was so heavy on me. I needed to like just get the stories out. And
Yeah.
everybody is exhausted though.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows like this is not it. People
Yeah.
know that there's more. But like my daughter, she's just like, okay, what else do you want to do then? So then it's that attitude too. Like, we know that this is not what we want to do, but what else can we do? But it's like you all aren't even trying to find another way. Do you
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so people
It's
are
so true.
exhausted like me, but they don't want to admit that they want to do something different. They look at it like,
Yeah.
well, there's nothing else for us to do. So what are
Mm-hmm.
you going to do then? And I'm just
Yeah.
like, well,
Kind of like
I'm
apathetic.
going to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to do then? It's like, I don't know, but not this for much longer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. I can relate to that so much. Because I've always felt like I was different, kind of having that understanding of this is not it. And I know that there's more, but it's like everyone around me is content with doing things as they are. And so when you're that person, it can feel very isolating, right? It can feel like you're the only one thinking these thoughts. So you kind of suppress
Right.
them, like, well, maybe I'm just like, losing my
Right.
mind a little
Right. Mm-hmm.
bit. Maybe I need to come back to reality like everyone else around me. It's like, no, you're actually gifted, right? Because you're able to see things that other people can't. You're
Mm-hmm.
able to see like a different way that can
Yes.
exist. And I think a lot of us have like spiritual gifts that are able to see these things, but it's like we're not able to fit within a capitalist system that wants us to be, like you said, robotic all the time. Yep.
And just hustling all the time and going all the time, and
Yeah.
nobody's prioritizing rest. When I tell you I'm resting, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing all the steps that's going to get me to having my ideal life, or the life I desire and require.
Right.
People are not resting. Nobody. But I used to be that way too, though, because we're all like in that hustle grind. Because that's what we've been taught. You got to get it out the mud. You got to do all of that. I used to do so much stuff, so much,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how. And I do believe that naturally I'm wired to do a lot of stuff. Like I do have a lot of energy, but I have to do things that light me up though. So that's the difference. It's like I'm
Right.
not out here just doing stuff just for the sake of being busy. I have to do things that feel right in my spirit, in my gut. So people are used to seeing me like I said, writing books, making films, doing all that. But like in 2021 to like 2022, I just stopped doing everything. People are texting me like, when is the next short film coming out? When is the next web series? I just stopped in the middle of filming my web show. I just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody like, are you working on a book? No. Are you working on your web series? Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Are you working on your films? Like, nope. And then I felt bad about it a lot of times, because then when you're not being productive or doing anything, then people see you as lazy. So then I had to deal with that part of it, because it's like people are used to me doing. And so I was like, no, I'm prioritizing rest. So I started coming across different authors, like was Trisha, I think her name Trisha Hurst. Is it Hershey?
Trisha Hersey. Mm-hmm.
Trisha.
Hersey. Mm-hmm.
And about the rest is resistance. I ain't doing nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
That was before I started back making
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos. But I started just looking around me and noticing that people are not resting. People are just having all this like disease and illness and sickness. And then I had
No.
a lot of people that I grew up with, not even 50 years old. A lot of my classmates have been passing away. And I'm just like, what is, it's like, no. Nope. So I rest.
Mm-hmm.
I get things done and I
Yeah.
rest. So yeah, it's just
Mm-hmm.
people aren't listening and honoring their bodies. They're not looking at other ways to get stuff done. And I ain't doing it no more. I'm out.
I love that. Yeah. I'm out. Yeah. And I think being outside of the US for almost a year and realizing that the way things are done here is just so hectic at a fast pace all the time. It's like, for what? Where are we going to
What?
so fast? Right? Because people outside the US, it's like, no. Being in Mexico, it's like people take their time for things, which is an adjustment for me, right? Having to
Mm-hmm.
realize that things will happen at the pace that they happen and not expecting stuff to be like instant, like we expect in the US, because that stresses us out.
Right.
That's not sustainable.
It does.
All of this pressure to keep
It's
going all the time.
not.
Yeah.
Whew. Yes, I have to start traveling. That's on my list. I'm almost an empty nester. My daughter is a senior. It is February.
Yeah.
She graduates in May. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm making
Yay.
some
Congratulations to
plans. Making some
her and
plans.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
See the
Yes.
forest from the trees.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Lola Sunshine says, yes, it's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence. That
It
part.
is.
Thank you. Yes. And I will be talking to Lola Sunshine next week at this time, Thursday at 8 p.m. So yes, look forward to that.
Yay.
Let's see. Yeah. Scroll. My manager told me this week that calling because you're tired is not an excuse. I'm calling out. I took the rest of the day off because I was drained. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
How about just calling in and just saying I ain't coming? Like why am I even giving you a reason? That's why I say I'm a bad influence. I tell people that all the time. Don't listen to me. Don't unless you don't listen to me. I'm the one that lets my daughter, like I said, she's 17. I let her take mental health days whenever she wants to. We're not.
I remember you saying
I
that. Yeah.
don't. She doesn't have to rush. We're not
Yeah.
worried about attendance. We received a letter in the mail, like a warning, like, oh, she's missed this many days. She a whole senior. She got great grades, and that's a whole nother system. I mean, a whole nother topic too about grades.
Yes.
Who cares? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm a bad influence, because I'm trying to tell her, like, oh, yes, I want you to graduate, because, like, I don't know if it's more so for me and if I'm worried about how people look at me if I don't help you graduate. But it's so many things. It's really tough raising a child while healing, because I want to tell people so much, like, I don't give a F about none of this stuff, really. This stuff, she's not learning the things that she really needs to learn in this world anyway. I'm teaching her about healing and mindset and manipulation tactics and all that kind of stuff. They ain't teaching that stuff in school. So that's why I say I'm a bad influence. Don't ask me to if she don't want to go, she ain't going. I don't want to go to work. I'm saying, it's like they tell you gotta call in, leave your name and the reason for why you're not coming in. I always just leave my name. I'm not telling y'all why I'm not coming in. I refuse. No, I ain't coming. Bye.
Yep. And there's so much
Don't give a reason.
surveillance. It's like, why do you need to know all that?
Why do you need to know? Because they want to tell you whether or not it's a justifiable reason. No. Just like she said, she was like, that's not a good reason to call. It's my reason, though. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm bad influence.
Yeah.
Bad influence.
But it's true. It's like that power and control, right? That the dominant group in the society constantly wants to have. It's like, no, I can not come in. You're not going to control my every move and every action.
Right.
My well-being comes first, right? That's a radical act to say, no, you're not going to tell me that I can't do that. Yeah.
That's a whole, the job thing is a whole thing. I've been reading books on that too, about how these jobs are like mini governments, like a mini totalitarian society. Like, you don't even think about it in that way, but it's a lady on these YouTube streets that's like, these jobs are like kind of low-key totalitarian systems. Like, y'all better pay attention on how they run their company. And then you look at it, it's just like, yes, they're trying to, like you said, control your every move. That ain't even how it's supposed to be set up.
Yeah.
Like, and don't even get into the whole like, wage slavery and slave labor. Like, leave me alone.
That's real.
Leave me alone.
That is real. Mara says, yes, being a robot, being told what to say, when to go on break, being watched by management. I keep telling myself this can't be my life. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I know a lot of us feel that way.
My goodness.
It's like, and it's not, right? In seeing other people live life differently, it gives you that hope that no, there's other ways to live. They try to tell us that that's the only way to live because it benefits them and it maintains the structure the way it is. That's why it's so radical to be like, no, I'm going to live a different way and I'll be fine. And I don't need your approval.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to take everybody with us.
Yeah. That's true. Planet Terra Art says, hi. You said Harriet Tubman. She's giving me links all over the place. I'm working on a Harriet Tubman project as I listen to this important conversation. Oh, wow. It's important for women to center their own gaze. Yeah. Alignment. I love that. Yes.
Center the whole yes.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I love that. Planet Terra art.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about well-being, right? Which we've talked about a little bit about, but how does that contribute to our ability to resist things like the male gaze when we center ourselves, when we prioritize what feels good to us and go in that direction? How can that help us resist these societal forces that we're all trying to survive, do you think?
I think that when we prioritize ourselves or prioritize our well-being, we honor ourselves. We listen, like when something feels off, we're more tapped into our intuition. And then it becomes more clear that we're part of a system that was designed to keep us down. And so then we got to work like extrally hard, like extrally. I know it's made up word, but I love the word. We got to work extrally hard to make sure we don't backslide. So that's why I think it goes back to having community. And that's why community is important. But yeah, so when we prioritize our well-being, we honor ourselves, just period. Because when we don't make us a priority, then we're following what like the norm, quote unquote norm is. We're doing what everybody else is doing. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I think prioritize. Yeah, that's how it contributes to our ability to resist the male gaze.
I love that.
Are you quick?
I love that.
Dang.
Yeah. Yes. When we prioritize our well-being, we honor ourselves. That is so true. And that's the first step, right? Honoring ourselves, validating ourselves, telling ourselves all these things that we've been taught to seek externally. That's the key to taking our power back, right? It's like no longer do you get to tell me that, and I'm seeking that out, and I'm jumping through hoops. It's like I can do that for myself. Yes. Yes.
That's exactly what's that.
Planetary Art says, add actually to the dictionary.
I've been using that word for so long. It's just so funny. Me and my cousin, we made it up years ago. Just like extrally. Extrally.
I love that. The educator says, exactly. Yes. School sets them up for the plantation. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It teaches you how to be a better worker. All of this stuff. And I had a whole conversation with my daughter about that maybe like a week or so ago. I'm like, we don't care about this being on time. I'm just like, time is not real anyway. Time is an illusion. They just trying to set you up to be a good worker so you could be on time for work and so they can have you go. I said, we ain't about to do it. We're not about to do it. Mm-mm.
As we're wrapping up, first, I just want to thank you so much for being here and sharing everything that you shared. But I did want to ask how people can support you, your business, and then continue to follow you online.
You can follow me on YouTube, here on these YouTube streets. I'm really active on Facebook. I know a lot of people still are not on Facebook, but that's where the majority of my people are. And those are only two where I'm really active. Like I have an Instagram, but I'm not really active on there. It's like linked to my Facebook, but
Mhm.
yeah, so I'm not really active. But if you like want to chat with me, you can come on Facebook and like DM me. I answer there a lot. Yeah, my videos I can show up on YouTube, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
I love that. I love that. Yes, yes. And your content is amazing on YouTube. I'm like, yes. Thank you for saying
Oh,
this.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you for watching. I really
yes.
appreciate that.
Yeah, seriously.
It took me a minute to get back
Absolutely.
into the
Absolutely.
groove. But yes, and
Yeah.
thank you for having me on here. I love your platform. I've been watching you for a while, and because I would just be excited to see Black and brown women out here talking about like radical stuff.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And to see that you got it and you're young. Do you know what I mean? Like you're
Mhm.
you're the age I was when I first started getting it, and then I'm just like, I need to talk to somebody about this. So
The community
I
aspect.
appreciate you
Mhm.
sharing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yes, I've been watching you. I love how you're showing up even when you like when it's like uncomfortable, and I see that you're starting
Mhm.
to promote yourself more because I know that was a thing.
Oh,
And so
yes, it's still a thing. Thank you.
and I love that you built the community. So keep doing your thing. It is really making an impact. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Alicia says thank you so much for this. Oh yeah, it's been so good.
Hi,
Thank
Alicia.
you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank
Yeah. Thank
you.
y'all so much for everything that you put in the chat, shared with us. We learned from each other in the chat. Mimi says this was such a great conversation. Thanks, ladies. You're so welcome. Thank you for
Oh,
being
thank
here.
you, Mimi.
Yeah. In the educator. Yes. Thank you so much. Love this, ladies. Marissa always has the best guests. Oh,
She
wow.
does,
Yes.
doesn't she?
Agreed.
Oh my
Agreed.
goodness. I love it.
Thank y'all so much. Yes. Yes. And as we're wrapping up, yes, I will be speaking with Lola Sunshine again next week at 8 p.m. So yeah, until then, y'all.
I'll be
Appreciate y'all
back
being
then.
here.
I'll be back next week
Yeah.
for that.
Yes, yes. And have a good night. Until then. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.